Hello, my name is Kenneth for Purple Total Pro. I'm here to introduce Cart Product Feed for WordPress. This is going to create feeds for your merchant account, specifically for Google. This video is going to walk you through the basic steps in creating your very first feed. Although we support Amazon, eBay, Shopzilla, Nextag, and very soon Bing, everything I say in this video is going to apply specifically to Google. Some of it will be reapplicable to Amazon or the others. The very first place I'm going to start is with the attributes. In my example store, I have three attributes called carrier, condition, and storage. If you add attributes, they'll be easy for the plugin to find. If you don't add the attributes, you're going to have to do some backflips to get it to work. In my example, under carrier, I have four different carriers. I have AT, Verizon, Wi-Fi, and a second Wi-Fi. So there's two of them, then they have different slugs. I have most of my products listed under AT&T, but you don't need to add any carriers. Although I have four, you don't need to actually add any. You just need the carrier attribute to exist in order for this to work. Here's one of my products, a golden bunny. It's a simple product, as you can see. It has a very basic description. Notice that the description contains HTML tags. I'm going to show you in a future video how to remove those tags and how to remove special characters in case Google's rejecting your feed. My attributes for this very simple product are going to be storage, and I'm going to add a second one for carrier. This carrier attribute is going to substitute as brand. For this particular product, the brand is going to be AT&T. Save. When I'm creating the feed, the brand, in my case, is carrier. So I'm going to map carrier to the Google attribute brand. Just for fun, I'm going to map condition. The condition is the quality that it's going to be. That's going to become material. And I'm going to map storage to size. Brand is a very important attribute. I'll come back to that very soon. My WooCommerce category is going to be animals, since I'm selling mostly bunnies. For Google category, I'm going to choose animals out of the list. Notice how I typed a few characters and the list appeared. And the file name can be anything. You can even leave it blank. I'm just going to name it test so that I can find it later. And click Get Feed. Here's my feed. You can see it has a whole bunch of different products inside of it. We right click, we click View Source, and we can see behind the scenes, we can see what the feeds actually output. It's output the very important GID. GID is extremely important, and every feed should have one, at least for Google. Here's brand. Gbrand, it found it using the attributes that I pointed it to. I'll come back to some details about that very soon. Also note the description contains the special characters that we said that we might eliminate later if Google rejects it. For a variable product, there's going to be a few extra steps. In this case, I have the gray bunny, and it's listed as a variable product. Under attributes, there's storage, and under variation, we have storage again under its two variations. So in this case, when we're adding our different variations, in this case I'm going to add a carrier, we have to make sure that it's actually used for variations and that values are chosen. Notice how under storage I have two values, terabyte and 64 gig, and notice how under variations for that I have a variation for terabyte with its own quantity and its own price, and I have a different variation for the 64 gig version. In this case it's out of stock, quantity 0, and price is 2. Notice now under our actual product feed we have item ID, we have item group ID. Why? Because there's actually a second item under the same group. They're both gray bunnies. So I have now two items listed, one for each variation. The variations are differentiated by size, in this case because I mapped G size. Notice that the availability for one bunny is in stock because I said there was 2 of them, and the second one is out of stock. I said that there was only one. Sorry, I said that there were none in stock. I put stock quantity as 0. So the second gray bunny is listed out of stock automatically. The newly generated feed appears under Managed Feeds. Each feed is given its own particular URL. In this case, it's upload/cart product feed/google/text.xml, test.xml, and we know what time it was updated. In this case, very recently. And we can actually view the feed, which brings us straight to the same XML file that we saw before. This URL has to go to Google, so this is what you paste into Google when you're doing automatic feeds, and you tell Google to come visit your website at this URL, and Google will start digesting your feed every interval that Google would normally use. You're going to be updating your products, and you want your feed to automatically reflect the new products. Now in my case, I've set an update interval of 1 week, meaning that if I add a new product, by a week later that product will be added into this actual file, this URL file, and Google will come along and pick it up automatically without me actually doing a thing. However, if I want, I can just simply go to View, take the file itself, just copy and paste the file, and upload it directly into Google. A lot of people prefer just to send the file to Google rather than wait for Google to come get it. So you have the option. All your feeds are listed here. You can add new feeds by clicking Generate New Feed, or you can delete existing feeds. And if you've made a lot of changes to the system and you want all your feeds to update, and you have a whole bunch of them, just click Update Now, and your feeds will all update at the same time. Google asks you for 4 pieces of important information. You only need to provide 2 of them. One is a GID. This is provided for you automatically. However, you still need one more. This can be the global trade item numbers. This can be the manufacturer part number, or this can be the manufacturer brand, which is to say G brand. GID is taken care of for you. The plugin automatically will attempt to take your SKU, the SKU number, and submit it as MPN. So it's best if you submit one more, and most people choose the brand. The brand is located under G brand. In my example, I use carrier as the brand using attribute mapping. That's the end of this particular video. I've now introduced the process of creating a feed and what Google needs to see in your feeds in order for it to be accepted. Some other things I should mention is you shouldn't pack too many categories into one feed. Why? Because if Google sees a disorganized number of categories, their human operators will reject the entire feed rather than selecting the categories that you would actually like. For example, if you sell shirts, and you also happen to sell lawn gnomes, you should not sell them in the same feed because the categories don't match. Thank you, and there will be other videos to follow.